Hi, it's Minea in front of Learn Languages HD Audio, and today we are going to cover introductions and greetings in English language. So let's get started. When you're starting conversations or when you're meeting new people in English language, you're probably going to use some of these phrases. We say hi when we approach someone, and when we want to start the conversation, you can use good morning, good afternoon, or good evening instead. While these three are considered a bit more formal, of course, you can use all of these in any setting. But when you enter the school or when you enter the office, you're probably going to prefer good morning or good afternoon instead of hi. Good to see you, nice to see you. These follow after the approaching greeting, and they're used to emphasize that you're feeling happy or glad to meet someone. It's been a while. It has a similar meaning. You want to emphasize that you have finally met someone you haven't seen in a very long time, but that's the phrase that you will most likely want to use with your friends. It's more informal. How is it going? How are you doing? How are you? What's up or what's going on? You use all of these phrases when when you meet your friend and when you want to check on them. So you ask how. It means something like, how is your life? How is everything going in your life? How is your work or whatever that is relevant? How are you can be used to just simply represent how is your health, how is your well-being, but it can also mean similar as how are you doing or how is it going. It can be used in the same context. How was your day? You can use it at any point when you meet someone. It's always a good sentence to say, and you can use it for any setting. Also, your business partners, your boss, but also your friends and your family. And goodbye, see you or have a nice day are closing greetings when you are about to finish certain conversation. And you can use one of these, or you can combine a couple, as we are going to see later in the lesson. Introductions. These are the three questions and most common replies. And probably you're going to use at least one of these when you're starting a new conversation with a new person, when you're meeting a new friend. What is your name or what's your name? So apostrophe S is short for what is your name. You can answer by saying my name is or I am. So my name is Anna or I am Anna. Which one you're going to use, it's up to your preference. Meaning is completely same, so you can use it in any form you like. Where are you from? Uh, you use it to ask for the country or city or maybe neighborhood. It depends a lot on the context. It depends who you talk to. So, for example, you can say when a friend asks you, where are you from? You can say, I am from United States, or I'm from Milan, or whatever is relevant in that moment. What do? You use it to ask for someone's profession. So, what do you do for a living? What's your job? And you can say, I'm a nurse, I'm a teacher, I'm a pilot, I'm an astronaut. Just you use I am a, and then you add your profession. Now, as we have learned all of those phrases, we are going to practice this example dialogue. A dialogue very normal and regular, very common when you actually meet new people. So Anna says, hi, what's your name? And John replies, hello, my name is John. What is your name? So it's very polite when you want to keep the conversation going to ask these return questions. So what's your name, or how about you? Nice to meet you too, or something. My name is Anna. Nice to meet you, John. John says, nice to meet you too, Anna. Where are you from? Anna says, I'm from the United States. How about you? I'm from Germany. What do you do? So now we have a profession. I'm a nurse. How about you? I am a teacher. It was nice meeting you. See you. See you. Have a good day. So you can see how both of them combined to closing remarks. So Anna says, see you, have a good day, while John said, it was nice meeting you, or it was nice to meet you, see you. So hopefully now you know how to start a small conversation in the English language when you meet new people or when you reunite with your old friends. Thank you for being with Learn Languages HD Audio today. We hope to see you soon again. Bye bye. Hi, it's Minea in front of Learn Languages HD Audio, and in this lesson we are going to learn how to make offers and requests in English language. So let's get started. In order to make requests and offers, you're going to use some of the modal verbs. And we have presented in the table some of the most common ones, such as can, could, may, shall, and would. But later in the lesson, we are going to go into each of these separately, explaining how to use them. So let's start with can. Can I help you? Or can I do something for you? These are the two ways that you can offer your help to someone, to offer to do something for someone, like can I help you? Can I do something for you? And also you can say, can you lend me a book, please? Can I use your phone, please? So in these cases, you're making a request to someone, of course, in a very polite way, but this is more common. Using can is more common to informal situations than to formal. So you're going to use it with your friends, with your family, more than you would with your professors or business partners. Could. Usually people have a doubt whether they should use can or could, or what is actually the difference. The only difference, but quite modest one, is that could is a bit more polite than can, actually. But in the spoken language, in the everyday conversation, no one's gonna pay so much of attention on it. So could you bring me some water, please? Could you open the door for me, please? So as you can see, a bit more polite way to ask a question, to ask for something. May. May is when we are talking about the extent or degree of politeness. May would go a little bit higher than could and can. And we use it also in more formal situations. Like you would use it mostly in the formal setting, while these previous two you would use in informal and formal both. So may I do something for you? May I go to the toilet, please? Or may I bring you something to drink? So as you can see, you can offer your help to someone, you can offer to do something for someone, and also you can request something from someone. So may I go to the toilet, please? A statement very well known to all of the students. So if you're just about to enter the international classroom, you are going to ask in this way, may I go to the toilet, please? When you want to receive an allowance from your teacher. Then we have shall. Shall is more common in British language than it is in American English. So in British English, you're going to use shall more often. And when it comes to the politeness or to the formal or informal setting, it's very similar to may. And shall we go? Or shall I open the door for you? Shall I get you something to drink? You can ask a request or you can offer something to someone. Regardless, you can use shall, but it's more common in British English than it is in American English. Would. Would be maybe far the most common one, I think. And I'm going to explain a couple of ways you can use would in order to make offers and requests. So would you like some ice cream, or would you like your pizza with cheese? Would you like? So do you want? It means the same as do you want, but it's kind of more polite, nicer way to ask it. Would you pass me that plate, please? So as you can see here, you don't have like, you just have plain verb pass. So would you pass me that plate, please? Like, can you pass me that plate? Do you want to pass me that plate? And would you mind? opening the door for me, please? Or just, would you mind opening the door? What's the difference here? Pay attention to the verb. If you use would you mind, the verb that follows it should be in an ing form, not in the plain infinitive form. So you say, would you mind opening the door for me, please? Or do you mind if I open the door? It's sounds similar, but you would say to someone, do you mind if I open the window, to check whether they're bothered with it. Like, do you mind? Is it a problem for you if I open the door in this classroom, let's say? And now, as we have covered all of the ways to ask for offers and requests, we are going to learn how to respond to those. So here are some of the phrases that you can use in communication. Yes, please, or no, thank you. So, for example, would you like some juice? You say, yes, please, or yes, please, thank you. Or no, thank you, I'm fine. So I don't want it, I don't need it. I would like to. Also, would you like to go with me? Yes, definitely, I would like it, thank you. And that would be great, nice, or kind of you. So hopefully you have learned something today, and thank you for being with Learn Languages HD Audio. We hope to see you in the next lesson, where we are going to learn articles in English language. Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Minea in front of Learn Languages HD Audio, and in this lesson we are going to cover articles. Well, this may be a completely foreign concept to you because some of the languages don't have articles. My native language doesn't have it, but with a few simple tips that we are presenting today and some practice over time, you will be able to master them. So English language has two kinds of articles. They have definite article and indefinite article. Definite article is the, while indefinite articles are a or an. We are going to go into all of these separately and explain in what situations you can use them. So let's start with a definite article. Definite article, or the, limits the meaning of a word. For example, if you say a book with an indefinite article, you refer to the whole category. But if you say the book, you refer to the specific one, to a specific item. And your interlocutor will always know what you're talking about because you have previously mentioned it, or it's clear from the context, or it's visible, you can point it out. But it's important to know this difference. The is referred, the is used when you refer to a specific word or a specific item. It's also used with singular, plural, and uncountable nouns, and with adjectives in a condition, in a certain condition. Here we have a couple of examples. Particular objects, we have already explained it. Hand me the book, please. That one. Not all of the books, but that one. Countries that consist of multiple components. So we use it with countries that consist of multiple components or have the plural word or a plural noun in the name of the country, such as the United States or the United Kingdom or the Netherlands. But we do not say, for example, the Germany. We just say the Netherlands. And geographical objects such as rivers, mountain ranges, oceans, or seas, like we have here the Amazon, the Alps, the Atlantic, the Adriatic, with organizations such as the UN, or with restaurants, cafes, hotels, pubs, for example, the Hotel Plaza, and with the families, so the Smiths, the Jones, when you refer to the whole family. Also, I mentioned that we use it with adjectives under certain condition, and that is when you're talking about a group. When a group is represented by a certain adjective, you can say the rich or the poor or something similar. Here we can also see when we do not use a definite article. So I have mentioned we use it with countries or with geographical terms, but not all of those. Like, I've been to Munich once. You don't say I've been to the Munich. Yes, it is a city, it's a geographical term, but not the one we are looking for the definite article. Europe is a beautiful continent. Another geographical term, a continent, but we don't use definite article with it. Mary wrote her first book it's a given name. And let's remember that we do not use definite article with given names except for these few exceptions we have mentioned before. And now we have indefinite articles, a or an. So we use it with any non-specified member of a group, on the contrary to the definite article that we use for a specific component of the group. I'm looking for an apartment, like one in a group, but it's not specific yet. We also use it to indicate a singular form, a single item, like she has a pet cat, or you can also say she has a cat and 2 dogs, for example, and with countable nouns. Then you may wonder, what's the difference between a or an? Well, a is used before a word that starts with a consonant, while an is used before a word that starts with a vowel. So a book, a cup, a gift, a highlighter, but you say an elephant, an airplane, an audiobook, or something similar. And we came to this practice where we are going to check what we have learned about articles. So I bought pair of shoes. You have blank in between. I bought blank pair of shoes. So imagine you're talking to a friend and this is the first sentence you're saying. You're not wearing your new shoes and you're just saying this statement. Since this is the first time you're bringing it up, you would say I bought a pair of shoes. But if you want to continue, you say the pair of shoes I bought was very cheap. Since you have already mentioned it, person knows what you're talking about. I saw a movie last night. Same rule. I saw a movie last night. But then you say the movie I saw last night was about crime, let's say. Look at blank woman over there. She's famous actress. So over there, probably you're going to point out or to show a picture, and that means that your interlocutor knows who you're talking about, so you can say, look at the woman over there. I read blank amazing story yesterday. I read an amazing story yesterday. So not a, but an, because we have a vowel. And why you say, why you use indefinite article, because it's again the first time you're bringing something up. Blank, night is quiet, let's take a walk. So now in this moment, imagine it's night, you say to your friend, he will know that you're talking about this particular moment or this night. So you say the night is quiet. Price of gas keeps raising. So you say the price of gas keeps raising. And we have John traveled to Mexico. So another country, geographical term, but here you're not going to use any article since we don't use definite article with Mexico, with a country. So thank you for being with Learn Languages HD Audio in this lesson, and we hope to see you in the next one where we are going to learn auxiliary verbs. Thank you, bye-bye. Hi, it's Minea in front of Learn Languages HD Audio, and in this lesson we are going to cover auxiliary verbs. So what are actually auxiliary verbs? You can also call them helping verbs, and from there you can clearly see what is their purpose in a sentence. So they're basically helping main verb form different sentences, different tenses, voices, and modes. Thanks to the existence of the auxiliary verbs, we can form different sentence structures, and our ability to convey ideas also becomes very versatile. There are 3 main auxiliary verbs in the English language: be, do, and have, and each of these we are going to cover separately so that you can understand in what situations you're going to use them. Be or to be is used to describe something or someone, like she is beautiful, it was my favorite book, or we are famous channel. Is and are present forms of verb to be, while was is the past tense of the verb to be. And it's also used to form progressive tenses or continuous tenses, tenses that describe action that has lasted certain period of time, like I am reading, he was writing. It's an action that lasted for a certain period of time. Then we have more forms, as you had a chance to see, am, is, and are in the present tense. So we say I am, but we say he or she is, or we say we, you, they are. So I am a teacher, he is a teacher, or we are teachers. Then we have do. Do is used to make simple tenses. As to be was used to form progressive tenses, do is used to form simple tenses. And we have this example here. I do love sports, but it's in the simple tenses. Do we usually bring up when we want to make negative sentences or when we want to make questions. So he doesn't listen to me, you didn't finish on time, or do you like to play games? So as you can see, negatives or questions in both of the simple tenses, so present or past. When do we use do and when do we use does? Do and does are the forms in the present tense of the verb, auxiliary verb to do, and we use it like this. I do, we do, you do, and they do, but we say he does, she does, or it does. So I do like my job, but he doesn't like his job. Then we have. It's used to form perfect tenses. On the contrary to be, that was used to form progressive tenses. Then we had do for simple tenses, and now have is used to form perfect tenses, like I have traveled to Spain, she has been studying the whole day, I noticed that he had left his book on the table. Here in the present tense, we also have two forms, I have, while he has or she has. So I, we, you, they. So I and the plural forms are used with have, while he, she, it is used with has. So hopefully you could understand what we have been talking about so far, and we can make a couple of sentences in order to practice it. So if I say I, then we have space, and then I say traveled to Italy. It's a form of a perfect tense, and we want to use certain form of have. So have in the present form. I have or I has. What do you use? I have traveled to Italy. Or you can also say I, then we have, and then you want to use do, not, so the negative tense. Practice regularly. So then we say I do not practice regularly, but he doesn't practice regularly. It does sound like a lot, but with a little bit of practice over time, and when you dive deeper in the grammar, you will be able to understand it and to learn it perfectly. So thank you so much for joining us in this lesson. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we also look forward to seeing you in the next lesson that is going to talk about present simple tense. Bye-bye. Hi, it's Minea in front of Learn Languages HD Audio, and in this lesson we are going to cover a little bit of grammar, starting with the present simple tense. And our first question would be, when do we use present simple tense? So what are the occasions and sentence context that we are going to use present simple tense with? So we use it for statements that are always or generally true, or for certain facts, like here, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So it's a fact, it's always true, it's a general truth. While you can say the sky is not pink. So it's very obvious, sky is never pink. I mean, you can have a beautiful sunset, but not that beautiful. So we say the sky is not pink. Then to describe habitual actions. So for the present simple tense is used, and all of the other simple tenses, for habitual actions, actions that repeat over time. So I go to school on Monday, or I go to school every day. She plays tennis every day. So those are the habits that she has and that she regularly repeats. Then how do you actually form the sentences in the present simple tense? we are going to break it into parts, and first we are going to do positive, then negative, and then question sentences. As for positive sentences, you make it with a subject, and then you have verb in infinitive form or with the ending s or es. So let's explain this a little bit. You say, I run every day. I is a subject, the person that does the action. Run is a verb, and in this case, it is a plain form, infinitive form. But you say she practices on Mondays. So she is subject again, and then we use practices. It's infinitive plus s in the end. When do you use it? In the same situations where you use is. He, she, it. When you have third person singular, you're always going to add in the positive sentence s or es at the end. He helps his mom in the kitchen. So once again, we have he, third person singular, so we say he helps. They read books on weekends. You have they, it's equivalent to are. They are traveling or something like that. So you use they read books. You just use infinitive. Then we have how to form sentences in present simple tense, but this time it is a negative. So we say subject plus do, does. We explained in the previous lesson that do and does come up in the present simple or the other simple tenses in negative and in question sentences. So we say, and then you have, let me not forget, verb in infinitive form. In the positive sentence, you could have s or es in the end, while in negative and in questions, you don't have it. It's only in the positive sentences, third person singular. So I do not like her dress. She does not play with her sister. We don't follow the rules. You don't need to worry. So need, follow, play, like, plain forms, infinitive forms. So there is no need to use s or es. When you use do, when you use does, we explained again in the previous lesson, we say I do, we do, they do, you do. But you say he is, he does, she does, or it does. Then, how do you form questions? It's a simple concept in English language that repeats a lot, and it is called inversion. So instead of saying he does not play or he does play, you just change the positions of the subject and this auxiliary verb. So you say do, they play. Do, does plus subject. Do, does comes in the front, and then subject, and then verb in infinitive form once again. So do you play guitar? Does she like cooking? Or do they play on weekends? You can also make WH questions following the same principle. So you just make do or does question, and on do, does questions you answer yes I do, no I don't, yes she does, no she doesn't. When you have WH question, you're going to replay with a certain word or a phrase. And we have this example here. Where does she live? So she lives in Mexico. Does she live in Mexico? Where does she live? When do you leave for school? So I leave or you leave for school at 6 a.m., let's say. Then do you leave for school at 6 a.m.? Then you underline 6 a.m. because you are asking for the time. And then we say, when do you leave for school? So let's do a little bit of practice here. I, to like, lemonade very much. So I like lemonade very much. We're making positive sentences. The girls always listen to pop music. No S or ES because we have plural form. Janet never wears jeans. SES, third person singular positive sentence. Mr. Smith Mr. Smith to teach Spanish and French. So Mr. Smith teaches Spanish and French, and you to do your homework after school, you do your homework after school. So we have a couple of sentences here that we are going to transform into a negative sentence. So we say, My father makes breakfast. We say my father doesn't make breakfast. We lose s or es in the negative and we just use do or does that corresponds to it. They are 11, so there are 11 kids in a team, and you say they aren't 11 in a team. She writes a letter. She doesn't write a letter. I speak Italian. I don't speak Italian. And then he phones his father on Sundays. Then he doesn't phone his father on Sundays. How do you make these sentences into questions? Very simple. My father makes breakfast. My father does make breakfast. Does my father make breakfast? They are 11. Are they 11? Once again, you have this inversion. Auxiliary verb comes in front. She writes a letter. Does she write a letter? I speak Italian. Do I speak Italian or do you speak Italian? Danny phones his father on Sunday. Does Danny phone his father on Sundays? So thank you for being with us. Hopefully you could understand this lesson, and we want to see you in the next one where we are going to practice pronunciation. Bye-bye. Hello, it's Minea in front of Learn Languages HD Audio, and in this lesson we are going to practice our pronunciation. I'm going to show you a simple exercise called minimal pairs that you can use whenever you struggle to pronounce certain sound or when you cannot hear or distinguish certain sounds in English language. So let's get started. First, what are minimal pairs? By definition, minimal pair or close pair consists of two words with sounds that are very similar but have different meanings. So this meaning actually refers to the sound in this case. So the words, yes, of course, words have different meaning and sounds have different meaning. In a way, they sound different. But for us non-native speakers, it may be sometimes very hard to distinguish those sounds. Very often you would not be able to hear the difference at all, which is completely normal, especially if you're just beginning to learn English. And that's why these practices are created to help us solve those problems. So let's start with a certain example. And we have two sounds, and we have pairs of words. Each of the words first sound, second sound. First word contains first sound, second word contains second sound. We will be going through the example sentences with these words, and we will be practicing the pronunciation and the sound. We will be training our ears to hear these sounds and also to distinguish those later in the lesson. Let's start. Cost versus coast. Cost, coast. So you see that cost is shorter sound than coast, oast. Cost, coast, coast. It is not worth the cost, the money that you pay for something. I live by the coast. I live by the sea, by the ocean. I live by the shore. Cop versus cope. Cope. Longer sound. They got caught by the cops, by the police, or I can't cope with the stress. I cannot deal, I cannot tolerate, or I cannot process this stress. Hop versus hope. Hope. Can you hop on your right leg? So can you jump on your right leg? We can only hope it will be fine. Knot versus note. So I tied the knot on the rope, but I wrote a small note. I wrote a thank you note to her. So cost, cop, hop, knot. Cost, cop, hop, knot, like up, very short sound. And then coast, cope, hope, and note, longer sounds. So now we are going to do tongue twister, which is another pronunciation trick that you're often going to use. Especially this is common to classrooms. Maybe when you're learning by yourself, you're not going to give it a try, but I definitely encourage you because it's a fun way to break your tongue to pronounce to train your mouth muscles to pronounce these sounds. So Does this shop stock short silk shorts? If she stops at the shop where I stop, and if she shops at the shop where I shop, then I shan't stop to shop at the shop where she stops to shop. So it doesn't have a lot of meaning, it's kind of funny, but it's a good way for you to train your muscles, as I have told you. Feel free to pause the video here and to try reading it on your own, to experiment with the speed, so you can go a lot slower than I did or a lot faster, whatever works for you, but give it a try in order to train your muscles of the muscles of your mouth, or to train your hearing abilities. Then we are going to be looking for these sounds. So first we are looking for a short sound, and we have 3 sentences, and we're going to find the words that actually contain these sounds. So she lost her phone in the taxi. Lost, like hop, cop, lost. Cost, lost. You see, you can hear, you can rhyme it. So it's lost. I could buy it if I won the lottery. So it is lottery this time. She want to buy a cake. In this case, it is want. So she want, like hop, to buy a cake. Now we are going to be looking for a longer sound. Oh, so I know how to play the instrument. So no. Let's stand in the shadow. Oh, shadow. Follow her, please. So like hope, follow, it's the same sound. So hopefully you had some fun in this lesson. You learned this concept, and you will be able to use it whenever you have difficulties pronouncing certain sounds, or when you cannot distinguish, or just for fun, for breaking your tongue. Or if you're a teacher, you can use it in your classroom. Children always answer to these exercises very well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with Learn Languages HD Audio, and we hope that we are going to see you in the next one, where we are going to explain conjunctions. Bye-bye. Thank you. Hi, it's Minea in front of Learn Languages HD Audio, and in this class we are going to study conjunctions in English language. So let's get started with our first slide. What are actually conjunctions? As in all of the languages we're studying, and in our native languages as well, conjunctions are words that link other words or phrases together to form more complex sentences. Again, thanks to this concept, we're able to gain a lot of versatility in both our spoken and written language. So we have a couple of types of conjunctions in English language, a couple of kinds, and the first one is coordinating conjunctions. So the first kind refers to coordinating conjunctions. What are these? These are linking words or phrases of equal rank, equal grammatical rank, equal grammatical value. And some of the examples are for and nor, but, or, yet, and so. So we can say, I will take pizza or pasta. So I will take pizza or pasta. They're equal in the use. They're equal in the function they serve in the sentence. I wanted some rest, so I took a vacation. You have I wanted some rest, I took a vacation. To separate sentences, to separate phrases, they're linked together by so. She didn't study a lot, but she has passed the exam. So she didn't study a lot, she has passed the exam, but connects these two together. Then we have correlative conjunctions. These are a pair of conjunctions that often work together, like both and, either or, neither nor, not, only, but, and whether and or. So you can either stay here or come with us. So you have two options. You can choose to stay here or to come with us. So you can either stay or come with us, either or. Neither Sarah nor Peter was to blame for the mistake. So it wasn't the responsibility of Sarah, it wasn't the responsibility of Peter, so it wasn't to blame Sarah, it wasn't to blame Peter. Instead of saying it in this way or writing it in this way, you can connect with nor, neither or nor, and make it a little bit more fluent. So neither Sarah nor Peter was to blame for the mistake. Not only have I cleaned my room, but I have also prepared some cookies. So someone was a bit productive today, but let's explain based on conjunctions. Not only have I cleaned my room, but I have also prepared some cookies. So it's another pair of conjunctions that can serve very well for the versatility, to bring different sentence structures to your writing and to your speaking, of course, but you will be able to recognize its importance a lot in writing. Then we have our next form of conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions. So this is maybe the broadest category. These are linking independent and dependent clauses. What are independent and dependent clauses? By the words, you can really you can kind of guess what it means. So independent clause is a clause that can stand alone. They don't need, this clause would not need any other phrase or any other sentence to add on to have certain meaning, to be complete, while a dependent clause depends on the independent clause to be complete. Its meaning cannot be complete without another clause. That's dependent. And here in subordinating conjunctions, we have a lot of them, but I just listed a couple of first ones and some that you're probably familiar with. So after, although, as if, as long as much as soon as though, because, before, by the time, even if, even though, while, etc. So before you leave, make sure to check on kids. Make sure to check on kids. You can say that sentence and it's complete. So this is independent clause, while before you leave is a dependent clause. Before you leave cannot stand alone, so you better connect it. You better lean it on a certain other statement that is complete to round up its meaning. I went there because I wanted to. So I wanted to go there and I went there. So there is no need to break it into separate sentences and to repeat there. You can just say, I went there because I wanted to. As soon as she arrived, I picked her up. So when she arrived, I picked her up in the moment she arrived. Also bringing a lot of versatility. I picked her up as soon as she arrived. As soon as she arrived cannot stand alone, so you add it to the complete sentence, I picked her up, and it's now complete and sounds nicer. Then we're going to do a little practice here. So you have blank, I'm feeling happy, then blank sad, I try to keep a positive attitude. So here we are going to use one of these correlative conjunctions that are given in the brackets, either or, whether or, when I'm. So whether I'm feeling happy or sad, I try to keep a positive attitude. So in both situations, I try to keep a positive attitude. Then we have subordinating phrases. Pay attention to your work. Blank, you will not make mistakes. So that, unless, or. You have you will not make mistakes. Pay attention to your work so that you will not make the mistakes, or so that you don't make mistakes, something like that. Pay attention, don't add or. It would be correct if you had pay attention to your work, or you will make, but you will not make mistakes. So that's why you better use so that. I'm afraid of heights, blank. I appreciate the view from the top of this building. So and, yet, nor, another coordinating conjunction. And which one you're going to use? I'm afraid of heights, yet I appreciate the view from the top of this building. So even though I'm afraid of heights, I appreciate the view of this from this building, or off the top of this building. So we have explained a very broad concept, but it's good that you have a glimpse on the meanings and on different conjunctions that exist. And with the practice, you will learn all of these easily, and you will be able to incorporate it in your speech and in your written language as well. So thank you for being us in this series. We hope you enjoyed, and also stay tuned for another videos on the channel. Have a good day. Bye bye. Thank you.